So, there's been some more updates about the Mage Tower. And just gonna say that right now, even though I stream like Final Fantasy, and I've been doing that for a few weeks, I have been playing World of Warcraft for longer, a lot longer. I have played that for 6 years, I think. Let's see. World of Warcraft Legion launch. Back in 2017, seems like. No, 2016. Or yeah, 2016. And I played a little bit before that. Not much. But yeah. So one thing that I've loved ever since it came out, or ever since I learned how to do it, was the Mage Tower. It was a hard fought challenge, to say the least. Especially since I was pretty bad back then. I was really bad back then. I have gotten better over the years, of course, by simply playing, but also focusing on doing better. But that's not the point. So there has been news for a while now about Mage Tower coming back, at least a week. Oops, that's not what I was supposed to go. Yeah, at least a week, with us knowing for certain, or it might be a couple of weeks at this point. But there have been some uncertainties concerning the rewards. You have the one side that is positive if the artifact appearance would get back. You have the other side that is negative about if the artifact appearance will be getting back. And I can understand both sides. For me personally, I would love to get some of those artifacts appearances, because I wasn't good enough back then to get them. I did it on Beastmaster Hunter, Marksmanship Hunter, and Fire Mage. However, I do like the idea of certain things being for the better players and it being exclusive, meaning you get it when it's live, but you don't get it anymore. And that is something that we now have gotten confirmed, that artifact appearances will not be available, which at the end of the day I think is a positive. Of course, there will be people screaming about FOMO and all that, but yeah, I have my own opinions about FOMO, but I'm not gonna go into that right here and now. So let's just go through the summary. Mage Tower is returning with the same challenges. Cool, that's really cool. Would have been even cooler if they had done some switch ups, but I would still say it's hella fucking cool because it's difficult challenges, really difficult challenges. Player power will be normalized so that it will provide a meaningful level of difficulty to current players. Understandable. Because if they wanted to boost it up to be on level with current current gear, the numbers would have to be redone from scratch. You can't just boost the difficulty because the numbers won't function correctly. Like the balances will be different. So setting people down to a meaningful item level, I think, is a smart thing. Current players, like if we think casuals, then yeah, setting them down a tiny bit will be an idea. If you think high-end players, even more so, because they have gear that would let them just demolish anything in there. Like I just said, artifact appearances will not be available. That is good. That is a limited thing that only those that gained it deserve to have. Rewards are T20 recolored armor transmog. That will say... which raid? I don't remember exactly which raid that is, but I still think that's a good idea, even though it's recolors. Like, a lot of people are gonna say, oh, they're just reusing old stuff and then just putting in some different paint. Yeah, they are, but considering how short of time we've actually known about this, we don't know how long that has been talks in Blizzard about that. And doing a recolor isn't... Yeah, it's not something that takes months and months and months of work, but it does take a couple of weeks. It is work that does take a little bit of time. The reason for that, it's not... You can't just go in and say, okay, switch it to color number 15, and then you're done in the coding. That's not how it works. You have to have people go in to the actual 3D models and remake the armor set, in a sense. You have to have 3D modelers do the work before you can then export it and then integrate it into the game. So it is a little bit of work, and I think that is hella cool. Like, that is a way to reuse older content, reuse the Mage Shower, and actually have a reward. That I think is hella cool. That is something I even told my girlfriend when I mentioned that Mage Shower came back. Even though she doesn't play World of Warcraft, she can somewhat understand it from having played a lot of Destiny. Destiny 2 specifically, where, yeah, they do reuse some armor sets, but they do change up something. I'm most likely, personally, gonna try and get it on every single class, which means I will have to level up my rogue, because it's the only one that isn't leveled up. Into the next, druids get a fellow werebear form due to the model's unique model and animations, which is otherwise unattainable. I am a big fan of that one. Absolutely a big fan of that. The fact that the werebear, or the werebear, is such an icon, in a sense, when it comes to druids, I think that adding in a werebear is good. I think it's even better that they make it a new form, so that the original werebear is unobtainable. That is still a symbol of the, like, really, really good Guardian Druid players. But giving newer players, or players that didn't play Druid or Guardian Druid back then, chance to get a werebear, absolutely positive. It brings in more hype in that sense. If you defeat all 7 challenges on different characters across your account, you get the Soaring Spelltome mount. Cool. Even more reason to do it. That's the thing with both the not the werebear, because that is from what I've heard from other places, but the recolored armor transmogs and amount. Those are reasons to do it. Those are good reasons to do it. Yeah, you won't get anything that is like, oh yes, I can go do the Mage Tower and hope to get the last pieces I need to be able to go into Mythic raiding. No, you can't. Which I think is a good thing. This is extra content. This is something separate from the main, like, storyline or the main, like, gameplay loop. Which is positive. It's absolutely a positive. Because, say you play it like I did back in Nylotha, after the raid tier was done. I played every day. I played for several hours every day. I did a max amount of those nightmare things. I don't remember the name of them right now. I did the weekly assaults. I did the daily assaults. I did Mythic Plus, and I also started like grinding for the older mounts and older transmogs. When you do that for 3, 4, 5 months, you're growing bored. That is when it's more likely for you to actually quit the game. So I think it's a positive, absolutely, that I do introduce stuff like this to give people sort of a different thing to do than just, I have to do Mythic Plus, I have to do raiding to be able to have some high-end stuff to do. I also got to do my chores, which is something completely different that I'm not gonna get into this time, because holy, we're gonna sit here for a long time. So before we go further down to like look at the armor sets, just gonna quickly go through this. Soon after the Burning Legion invaded Azeroth on the Broken Shore, the Alliance and Horde began using the Mage Tower to deliverance points for high-end training of their promising champions. Once Sergeras was later defeated and dealt with it, and dealt his final vengeful blow to Azeroth, the Mage Tower was shut, and had been inaccessible ever since. In 9.1.5, Legion Time Walking will become available for the first time, and the Time Walking comes a wondrous way to return to the moments of heroism from the past. Azeroth's champions will be able to enter the Mage Tower again. I'm hyped for Legion Time Walking, I'm gonna be honest. I miss several of those dungeons. Let's see, in Legion Time Walking, the Mage Tower will operate similarly to how it did during Legion. The original 7 different challenges, grouped by your specialization role, will be available to try repeatedly for the duration of the Legion Time Walking. That is good. I just hope that it's not like you have this many tries today and you have this many tries tomorrow. I think it's better if it's like I can go in 64 times in one day if I have the mental strength and willpower to do so. Just quickly going through, closing the eye for Frost Death Knight, Havoc Demon Hunter, Survival Hunter, Subtlety Rogue, and Arms Warrior. An Impossible Foe for Unholy Death Knight, Feral Druid, Fire Mage, Outlaw, Elemental Shaman, and Fury Warrior. The God Queen's Fury for Arcane Mage, Retribution, Retribution Paladin, Assassination Rogue, Enhancement Shaman, and Demonology Warlock. Hell Totem's Fall for Beastmaster Hunter, Windwalker Monk, Discipline Priest, and Destruction Warlock. High Lord's Return for Blood Death Knight, Vengeance Demon Hunter, Guardian Druid, Brewmaster, Prot Pally, Prot Warrior. End of Risen Threat for Restoration Druid, Mistwalker Monk, Holy Paladin, Holy Priest, and Restoration Shaman. thwarting the twins for Balance Druid, Marksmanship Hunter, Frost Mage, Shadow Priest, and Affliction Warlock. Each challenge comprises a series of solo encounters that must be completely survived to earn rewards, and in Legion Time Walking, they will not require you to have an artifact. That is good, I think. That is actually good. If not, people would have to go and do the Legion questline to be able to get that. Or even that you originally played Legion. My point, exactly. While the challenges were considered quite difficult for most of Legion, with tuning the encounters in Time Walking to normalize player power, with the intent of providing a meaningful level of difficulty to current players. That is so vague. I'm gonna be honest, that line is super vague. Does it mean that they are nerfing it with the intention of providing a meaningful level of difficulty to current players? I'm not sure what they mean by that. Is it that they, by then tuning down people's item level to be able to make it a challenge, as close to as what it was during Legion? Because this should be difficult. This shouldn't be something you can go in 5 tries later as a casual and be able to do. You will have to do it several times. New rewards. Time Walking Mage Tower challenges may be the same as those the players experience in Legion, but the rewards will be different. When the Mage Tower closed at the end of Legion, it was firmly established that those rewards would become unavailable, which is good. Many players pushed themselves to collect all the appearances they could before the tower closed. Reintroducing those same appearances now will diminish those players' accomplishments. Absolutely it will. There are several I don't have, which I would like to have, but I'm super proud of the ones I do have. And I don't want to get the new ones on the cost of other people's accomplishment, if that makes sense. So success in a Mage Tower challenge will now award a Legion-themed armor set for your class. Nice. So I think we'll take
reopening the Mage Tower.
Yes, take a look and see what Breezy had to say, because I watched it earlier and he had some good points, and I kind of want to like stop every now and then and like comment on what he's saying, whether I agree with him, whether I have some other point of views. From what I know, he has some experience from game development. I think it was with QA, if I don't recall too wrong. So coming in from a designer's perspective, I think will give a little bit different of a viewpoint. And I think would like make for a fairly decent conversation about it. Like the positives, the negatives, what this can lead into, stuff like that. So
with Legion Time Walking in 9.1.5. Soon after the Burning Legion invaded Azeroth at the Broken Shore, the Alliance and Horde began using the Mage Tower at Deliverance.
Yeah, that one we have.
Below to Azeroth, the Mage Tower was shut, and it has been inaccessible. Return to the moment. Time Walking, the Mage Tower will operate for the duration of Legion Time Walking. And we all know what these are about. I'll skip that. Each challenge comprises a series of or even that you with the intent. New rewards. The Time Walking Mage Tower challenges. The Mage Tower closely established appearance that could before those players' accomplishment set for your class.
Okay, so I just skipped through that because we have already looked at that. So,
like this. You know, and so on, so forth. There's also a new achievement coming in 9.15 for the most well-rounded champions of the Kirin Tour. Players who complete all 7 challenges on different characters across their battle mode accounts will be rewarded with a unique flying mount, the Soaring Spell Tome. Another special edition. During Legion, the mage...
Yeah, so the mount thing we also took a look at. I will go through and like take a closer look at the armors after we're done. But this next part is he has some good points.
Mage Tower awarded most specs a new weapon appearance, yet players who missed earning those still have countless other admirable weapon transmogs to collect across the whole of the game. But for Guardian Druids, the Mage Tower prize was an alternate bear form with a unique silhouette and animations. There is simply nothing else like it in the game. For years, we've heard feedback from Druid players who are frustrated that something so transformative is no longer available, and we agree. Therefore, in Legion Time Walking, Guardian Druids who complete the High Lord's Return Challenge will also receive a new Fel variant of the Werebear form.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice. We designed it with the goal of making sure that the original bear forms earned in Legion with their unblemished natural coloration will remain clearly distinguishable from this new one. Looking ahead, to celebrate the return of the Mage Tower, we plan to have Legion Time Walking open for 2 consecutive weeks when it first appears on the calendar. Thereafter, Legion Time Walking will occur for the standard 1 week at a time in rotation with the other Time Walking events from past expansions. And done. Sweet! That's pretty awesome. So, Guardian Druids get some extra love, which is very classist, I suppose, but still really awesome.
I just want to take a nip at that one. Yes, I do agree. It is somewhat a little bit like classist, if you can call it that. However, I will counter that with every other class has the ability to transmog their weapons, their gear, shields, and it remain visible. However, Guardian Druids can't. Yeah, if they are in human form or humanoid form, you can see their weapon. But the second they go into bear form, you can't see that shit no more. And they do have, in that sense, a limited amount of transmogrification, because they only have a certain amount of forms. So I think this, in my opinion, is super cool. It also gives, like, in my opinion, it gives the opportunity later on for more, like, exploration. Not only in the druid form, but say shamans, for example, with their travel form. Say tank-specific transmogs. Because there are other classes that use shields, like Holy Paladin Healing uses a shield. Elemental Shaman uses a shield. Like, by giving Guardian Druid this specific thing, I feel like later on we might see, say, a tome that changes up how, say, Blood Death Knight's abilities look. For example, to make it look, say, more demonish. I don't know. Kind of like they did with Destruction Warlock.
So there are several layers of things that are happening here. One, each individual class is going to get another color of their set. Sweet. I appreciate that. On top of that, and it's not pictured here, there's going to be a mount for people who do all of them. So people with alts, they're going to get more stuff. Great. Then finally, druids get for themselves like this extra goal. So let me double check. In Legion Time Walking, Guardian Druids who complete it will get the Werebear form. Okay. Cool. Now, one thing that I'm not entirely sure about yet is what's going to happen when you go in. are you going? They said something about normalized item level. What I'm wondering, because this is technically time walking, are we going to be able to use the Heart of Azeroth? Will we be able to use our essences? Will we be able to use Covenant abilities, Soulbind stuff? You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, they're tuning it to normalize player power with the intention of meaningful level difficulties to current players. Yeah. So it's not exactly specified yet whether or not this is going to be not exactly trivialized, but challenged by having done like previous content and having like all this time walking available stuff to help you out. Because there's normalizing player power, which is to like, you know, set an item level thing. But then there's also just straight up making clear our old expansion features, old items like that, is that going to be a thing? And I was saying earlier that it shouldn't be. I think all of those things should just be disabled because
I completely agree with that. I do not feel like we should be able to bring in any borrowed power at all. Considering back then we had the Legion artifact weapons that, yes, they did give us some extra stuff. I feel if anything, we should be able to bring in the artifact weapons. I do not think we should bring in the armor or the essence or the necklace from BFA because they worked in a completely different way, in my opinion, and they were, in my opinion, also stronger. They had a bigger effect on what you were doing than give you some stat boosts. So being able to bring in, say, the essence and do the laser beam essence, like that won't make sense. Especially for people that played during that time. Same with Covenant abilities. Like some of them, considering they are still unbalanced in Shadowlands, I feel like bringing them in will also be a negative, because they will trivialize the challenge in certain aspects. Because some of them are hella strong. Take Holy Paladin with Venthyr. That's Ashen Howl. That's just too strong. You deal a sick amount of damage, and you heal a sick amount. Like that will take away a lot of the challenge, I feel. So I'm absolutely agreeing that bringing that into the Mage Tower won't be good at all. Yeah, because from a design perspective, both of them have completely different functions than the powers we had back then, and the Mage Tower was built around and with the balancing around the artifact weapons and the potential legendaries we had back then. So the new ones, both legendaries and Covenant abilities or BFA's border power, will just minimize the challenge, I feel, and also counterintuitively make it easier.
Because now, if Legion Time Walking is going to be like a thing and the Mage Tower thing is going to be just a thing forever, never, the easiest way to balance that out would be to disable like everything. Disable any expansion feature and just kind of go in naked. Which sounds fair, but in an effort to try to consider future-proofing, like what if there is some sort of new expansion feature that does a lot for a player, for a player's character, and if that's disabled in Legion Time Walking, then that would make it feel really gimpy. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can see the perspective of that. However, I feel like going in, like you said, naked and having to like fight your way through with a bare bone character is part of like make it in a challenge. Because with all the borrowed power, like yeah, people know how to play their classes and people know how to utilize their specs, but if it's too much borrowed power, do they really play their class or do they play the expansion feature? And that's the thing, like, with how much Blizzard introduces borrowed power and power boosts for each expansion, I feel like they themselves make it difficult to be able to reuse content. When I say reuse content, I mean like this. You bring back Mage Shower, the challenges are the same, but the rewards are different, and the power will be limited to a certain degree. Say 1 to maybe 3 expansions down the line, if they keep wanting to have the Mage Shower there, I think to keep it fresh, switching up some of the mechanics might be a really good idea. Give them some more spells, give them some new spells, take away some of the old, and exchange them with a new. And then you can keep having, say, armor sets, transmog armor sets, potential mounts that are specific for that content. Just to take a similarity from what I've experienced myself, Bajan Southern Front in Final Fantasy has some of that. It's a thing that is separate from the rest of the story. However, you need to do a little bit of it to get your relic weapon, which is the best weapon. But you don't need to do that much. There are a separate armor set completely functioning only for... I think you might use it outside. I'm not completely sure, so don't quote me on that, but they have their separate armor set. They have mounts that you can get only there. And they have some smaller activities within that area. Which gives people reason to do it. It's also a very good way of leveling, which is something I want to talk about at a later point with Torghast, like potential ways they could have done Torghast, which I feel would have been a lot better, but I digress. I think at least for now, completely locking every single borrowed power is good. And then later on looking into, okay, shall we allow them to use new potential borrowed power, because it's Blizzard and I don't doubt they're gonna have even more borrowed powers later on. Even though I would highly suggest going for an expansion without.
Kind of curious that I guess it's not that big of a deal because they're making this challenge evergreen now, and it's something that's meant to be completed. So you need to have completed all of these at some point. I'm sorry. You'll need to have completed these during Legion. I'm sorry, now. I apologize. By doing all these during the Time Walking event, then you get that mount. So I guess I gotta get my alts ready. I think it wouldn't be fair if I did need to level all my alts to like 60 or whatever. I should be able to do it at what, like 45 or whatever that level is. Do it when it's level appropriate. But this would be cool. All for doing all that stuff and getting a mountain in the end. People were wondering about that. People have asked, oh man, we should be able to get like a cool achievement for having done all 36 challenges. Which I think the reward is, well, you got 36 different transmog thingamajiggers. Shoot. What are you guys talking about? Something like this with doing a mount and just having done the challenges, I think that's cool.
I agree with that. It's like part of the challenge is doing it on separate specs, separate classes. I can, however, understand people wanting, say, an achievement. Like to be sort of a middle part here. From the views of a designer, it would be a lot of extra work for me if I were on the team to then make yet another type of reward, say a different mount or a, I don't know, a special hat transmog, just to throw some ideas. If people then did all 36 of the challenges, that means every single of these challenges on every single spec. I don't doubt that I'm gonna end up trying, even though that is not a good idea, as there are several specs I don't know how to play, but hey, I digress. It will be a lot of extra work to like make something new as a reward there, considering how much Blizzard have on their plate when it comes to fixing the game currently, as there are a lot of stuff that needs fixing. However, I will say that if there are people that are willing to go through and do every single spec and succeed in doing every single spec, getting a little achievement, Mage Tower Destroyer, and maybe a little title, the Mage Tower Destroyer something something, that would actually be really cool and be even more incentive for people to do it. That would actually be a really good idea. But yeah, a title and an achievement I think would go a long way. More than that, if this had been a expansion feature, yeah, maybe they would have done it. But that does not mean that they can't do it at a later point. That's the entire idea. That's sort of what I'm trying to quote preach here. They can make the Mage Tower function for several expansions if they choose to. They have a lot of employees. They have a lot of different teams. If they really, really want to. And I think it would be in the player's best interest to have the Mage Tower as a separate thing where they can go in, they can do challenges, and the challenges will evolve throughout different expansions. So say the next expansion we get these challenges again, just that the bosses have some different tactics and some different attacks. Maybe not call it the Mage Tower anymore because it is a future development. Call it, say, Challenge Tower. As it does evolve, it keeps training you. That will make it fit with like these sort of way that Blizzard tried to make us into the #1 super powerful entity that saves the world, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I enjoy more what, say, Final Fantasy have done, where, yeah, they did that a little bit in the beginning, but at this point it's like, hey, you're strong, nice, cool, help us. This is too powerful for us, you might be able to do it if you hook up with some other adventurers. So they actually acknowledge that you're not the only one. I think that might be a good idea, to make it less of a, you're the all-powerful saving God, please help us. But yeah.
I think because just having one character lets you do multiple challenges. So you only need like a handful of people, handful of characters to complete all of these challenges. Protection Paladin, they have three: one melee DPS, one healing, one tank, and so that shouldn't be so bad. But yeah, I'm happy about this. What do you guys think? Leave a comment, say something.
So yeah, to sort of round this off, since I am thinking of uploading this as a video, I'm super hyped. I'm really super hyped for this. And I think it will be a very good asset. Like, yes, there will be people that complain. There's always people that complain. Like, we can't get away from that. But I think this is a step in the right direction. Absolutely. I think this is a step in the right direction. They are taking something that was a big feature back in Legion, that was a well-liked thing from what I could gather back in Legion. And they're doing something about it. Some people will say, yeah, but it diminishes the worth of the armor sets that they are recoloring. I would say no. It's a recolor, meaning it looks different. There will always be people that prefer one or the other. Say, I, for example, like several of these recolors. I think the monk one looks hella cool, even though orange isn't my favorite color. This one looks just beast. The Demon Hunter one looks okay. Death Knight, Mage, this looks awesome. Like, these are probably not all of them, but I would say it doesn't diminish the worth of the transmogs from the raids at all, because they're just a recolor, can't change them so vastly that I think this is a really positive thing. And I don't know if this is oh yeah, here we might see all of them. So Death Knight, the reason I'm not the biggest fan is I don't like the helmet. The horns are cool, but like the mid part of the helmet I'm not a fan of. Demon Hunter, it's okay. The Druid one looks beast. Absolutely beast. Hunter, I've never been a fan of. It looks a little bit better in blue, but the mage, it's okay. It's okay. Monk looks hella tight. Paladin looks okay again, simply because I'm not the biggest fan of the flying books and the, what is it called? The light tower at the top of the head. Priest looks cool. The rogue one. Wow! Rogues have really gotten a big one on this one. Almost to the point where I might test out Rogue, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, but hey, I digress. Warlock is really cool. I actually enjoyed the helmet. I don't recall which one it was, but there is another helmet I'm not the biggest fan of, but this one actually looks cool. And Warrior, no. No. That recolor was not good. But that's my personal opinion. Like, I do not feel this fits Warrior at all. The color scheme like that, no. That's more of a Paladin color scheme in my opinion. But yeah. I don't feel this takes away from the raid ones at all. Feel free to comment if you disagree with me, or if there's anything else that you have some input on. But yeah, I'm absolutely positive to this. The same with the rewards and the way they set up the challenge. if they decide to continue with this, I would say that is a massive positive. They really shouldn't let this slip away from them. They really need to like learn to look at the positives that have been before and learn from it, instead of having to reinvent the wheel every single time. There's no reason for it. There is a term that is called KISS that they really need to learn, which is keep it simple, stupid. That is something they really need to take a look at, because the last few expansions have been, yeah. If they had kept it simple compared to what they did, I am really sure they would have succeeded better. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any idea, like any ideas or any feedback to this. And I don't know if Breezy sees this. Hey dude, I hope this was a good feedback and I got some other like pointers. If not, it was cool anyway.